So happy full moon for starters. We forgot to put on there that we are going to have a full moon. And so I let me check on my sound. uh, and what is the benefit of this full moon? So before we dive into our live stream today, which is all about Athena, the beautiful goddess of Athens, the goddess of protection and wisdom, beautiful owl on her shoulder. She came into one of our classes the other day, and actually we worked with her owl more than we did with her. She came in as a presence, and then her little owl took us with him. So we are, oh, good. I've got sound. Excellent. Thank you. I remember to check for starters. This is a new microphone. I bought two new microphones, so they were both no good. So I'm really happy that we're here. We're in the middle of 6 retrogrades. So 6 retrogrades, then all at the same time. And it's not a bad thing. It just makes for some very, very interesting. So if you're having a lot of reflection, a lot of review, if things are returning and coming back into your life, or if you feel like I need to release, the full moon is perfect. So this is a blue moon. This is what's called a blue moon. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. I love the idea, the concept, the energy of it, because to me, the blue moon, and then I get called in by the color blue. The color blue is an incredible color. It's one of those colors that's cool, soothing, but it's expansive, right? So a blue moon isn't blue in terms of what we see. It's a blue moon because it's the second full moon 1 month. So what I would recommend you do is think about all that you've experienced this month. So quite honestly, to realize it's the last day. It's the 30th of August, and in the very beginning of August, we had a full moon, and I can't barely even remember who I was. So I know that all my students, hi guys, right, all my wonderful people in my sacred spirit circle, please come join the Sacred Spirit Circle. It's still on special right now. It's only $23 a month, and I'm getting ready to send out a new soul guided experience with that. So the blue moon is an opportunity to realize you've been given 2 harvests, 2 openings, 2 portals, 2 illuminations, right? 2 of that. Because when we see the full moon, it's just our perspective. She's radiating everything she's received. I think it's one of the most important sacred medicine that we need to remember is that we have. So whatever's come up, whatever's been coming up, waves of between these two, trust the moon. How do you relate to them? I love Ishel, the Mayan moon goddess. I have a baby kitten named after her. My is named after her. Got statues and paintings. And she's also the goddess of women. And she's the goddess of abundance, life. And she's the goddess of and abundance and all kinds of other things. There's all kinds. I used to really just relate to Luna, that aspect. So as intuitive awakening, it's important that you start to get relationships. So ask her, sit with her. There's going to be some things kind of coming up like waves, like, oh, like a swelling. And I don't know about you, but I've had very, very intense 5 days, 6 days. I don't know. Quite honestly, I don't feel like I'm in time right now. I'm extremely expanded. I'm extremely, and it's wonderful. I love living like this, but this is beyond my normal everyday. I walk in 2 or more worlds. And I know I'm in a major transition, like I'm in this Greece thing. So, I'm sharing all this because I'm going through it, and it's profound to me. And I love following the intuitive signs, then bringing them in and learning to master myself, my thoughts, my sure what I'm feeling about something isn't something that I think I need or have to have or have an attachment, craving to other people say. And this is what's breaking down. So her own way. Now, we're in a metamorphosis. This decade is and by the time we come out the other end of this decade, we won't even remember this moment because it will be so to us to struggle, to feel drama, to feel attached to everybody, to be overwhelmed because we are ascended masters in training. We are here to become, and we are here to be the capstone of our soul. We are evolving all the lives in our soul that are relevant, and essentially we can't move on. It's finding the gem, the jewel, the diamond in whatever has happened. So when my daughter Jordan died, very special. Okay, so my daughter died about 28 years ago. And so this weekend. And so, but I don't do like swimming with the dolphins. I was pregnant with her when I went on my first dolphin swim in the wild. So back to Athena and the full moon. So the dolphins are playing. She's telling me the dolphins are playing. We're going to talk about the dolphins of Delphi, how the dolphins were relevant to ancient Greece. Very, very important to me. And they have paintings and tiles, and Delphi means dolphin. So the most sacred site we talked about yesterday in ancient Greece was considered the navel of the world. That means the umbilical cord, this here. Center is, this is what said, this is what the oracle was, this is what the sacred feminine was suppressed, and where the sacred feminine. And so there's really beautiful things happening there. And so next week, I think the last show of this series, we're going to talk to the dolphins of Delphi. I'm so excited about that. They came in kind of as an afterthought, was like, but what about us? So the full moon gives you a lot of energy that's sacred. So it's not intense like the sun. It can be silver, it can be gold, it can be both because it is reflected sunlight. It is the masculine aspect of that, and Apollo, who's the Greek god of the sun, who was what took over Delphi from Gaia. And so we have the sun god, and we have the goddess of all creation. So all of the things, sun, moon, and earth, are a part of every experience you have. So for the full moon, they're asking, thank you, that was really fun. They were asking us to remember Gaia and remember the sun as we're focusing on the moon, because they're all involved and we're all involved. So releasing and realizing, and it could be a little bit of a squeeze through the next few days. Yesterday was actually very charming. However, inside of the very a lot of moving and resisting and hitting walls. These are the cosmic energies that we've been inside of. And with all the retrogrades, we have to do our life moving forward, and then we have to be, I better review this, and I have to go back to that. And I don't know about you, but I get very annoyed sometimes in certain aspects of my life if I have to go back and review something. So let's say hi Tracy. You saw the moon last night. Wow, what a sight. I did too. I didn't have my camera. I am obsessed with taking pictures of everything. And I realized this morning I don't have a picture of the full moon. And it's very cloudy right now. However, she'll be back, but it was wonderful. Oh my gosh, you saw an owl. Wow. That's quite significant, isn't it? Yeah, owls have come in and out of my life as messengers, as guides. I'm not particularly attached to them, but I had a grandmother I loved who loved them, and she sang a song about the owl when she put me to bed. She had them all over her house. I had a very positive feeling. And then I had the Athena. We're going to talk about today is Athena, and I had my very first memories of what I now know as a past life, or many past lives, were in ancient Greece, and it was one of my natural things. You know how kids gravitate to something naturally. I naturally gravitated and instantly do everything. Athena is one of the most important goddesses, is really the premier goddess. I think it would be the wife of Zeus, who was the prime god, but it wasn't. Hera was actually mostly just made a lot of trouble for people. So we're going to talk more about Athena, but what was so fun about that is that she has an owl on her shoulder, and most things like to portray her as a goddess of war, and this is not correct. She's a goddess of protection. So she has the helmet on her head at an angle, and she holds a shield that has different symbols depending on what you see for different reasons. So everything has meaning, right? Of course, the Greeks gave us archetypes and all of this incredible myths that tell us who we are or show us different patterns that happen. Psyche and is from Greek mythology too. And so the owl is a symbol of wisdom, and it's a symbol that can see. So I really relate to the jaguar, and have a lot of jaguar medicine opportunities to learn and be initiated. And so that way of seeing through the dark is how I generally relate to seeing through black pain, fear, shadows, manipulation, anything that's dark, okay, dark black energy, see through. The owl embodies a different kind of vision. So if you relate to owls, or if you enjoy owls, or they come to you, or you like saw one, that's very profound. When you see something in physical, uh, and spend a little time looking back at it or seeing where or what it might have had to say to you. So we can just see an owl, and we know it's a messenger carrying a message for us. We may not know what that message is, but we've received some energy. I call it soul medicine from the owl. Just seeing it made or made you think of something, or do find guidance. Up the spiritual owl. Now it helps something, right? And then you might see several different things. Then you come on here and I say owl. Okay. So when I hear something twice, I gotta go, whoa. And when I hear it 3 times in a shorter amount of time, I know that I need to stop and listen deeper to the message. Now the soul medicine is there for you. Often it can do all different chakra, through the way that you where you are, like standing in certain kind of water, so it's being absorbed in through your like salt water in patient. So there's lots of ways that medicine come. They come energetically, spiritually. They all have a spirit. So that's the first level of contact. Last level of contact for a messenger with anything is physical. So you can feel somebody before they enter the room and feel that somebody was arguing even though nobody's saying anything, right? So there's always everything that's happening to you. You have an accident, it's not an accident. All of your energy interacted with all the energy you're projecting, like the full moon. And so what we want, sweet life. Hey. Excuse me. Quite I'm quite obsessed with mugs. I buy all the cute ones with unicorns or flowers or butterflies or I don't know what stars and hearts. And so oh, this is a really special day, guys. For I thought I was gonna throw up. I did not feel that I could be in my body enough. I woke up and said, hell no. I didn't actually say that. I just and there was my kitten purring on my heart chakras, and I sleep. So I typically get up around 5 now, go see the sun. And it's moving back from the ocean, and it pretty soon over behind the land, see it over the ocean again. So I love it. I walk in the eyes. I see those that I the rest of the day. It's just however, very, very stepping, answering a call to soul, like this Greece trip makes you feel a little vulnerable, a little strange, a little out. And for me, I don't want to do force anything ever again, ever, because my ego wanted. I just don't. I've been through too much in my life, and when you get to a certain state of awareness, you realize, oh, I did that because I don't know myself. I have to know who, and I have to discover what's right for me, and I have to. Now, how do I live my life when I've been people pleasing everybody? So, when you have moments of expansion down, and they may be spiritual, and they may be orgasmic, and they may feel really painful, or they're all portals in our all, and then there be messengers. The owl sees the truth. So it's another way of saying seeing through. You feel inundated by dark. I can't. So the intensity of listening intuitively and trying to take action in the 3D while something is coming to you and the path is literally weaving in front of you is so different than living life the way we were told, which is decide what you want, make a plan, tell everybody, stick to that plan, take that step, take that step, take that step, get up early because everybody should get up early because you should do and you should do that. And then you go over here and you're like, you want me to do what? You want me to take some people to Greece? Can't do that. I've got a partner that needs help and this and that and all the reasons was just not going to be happening. That was a so that anything that pops up in your life, I want to give you permission to say, let's talk to that owl. Let's tap into whatever energy felt good to you, especially if it was just yours in childhood. So in the spirit guide circle this morning, I asked everybody, do you have a childhood spirit guide that you really love? Is all of this Greece stuff coming back now? Like I had a huge part of my life. It was the only thing I knew. I didn't know anything about the Mayans, and that's my life is all about the Mayans and the Aztecs and everything that now. And I didn't know really much about a little bit about the Native Americans, but on and on. So it was a huge part of my life, but it hasn't been recent. And so we often have a circle coming around. That's another happening. That's really beautiful. Full moon is to realize also the blue moon is rare, very rare. So anything that's rare, you just want to take advantage. I keep seeing sitting in the center of a circle of sitting in the center of a big circle over and over and over. So that seems to be the guidance at the moment is to sit in the middle of this big moonlight and be with it. And I'm going to be doing that too. I'm doing some nurturing because there's so much that's coming up by going into your past and so much that comes up by going into putting yourself out there and doing something that what if it doesn't work and all this and that and every other excuse. So then walking through them, just looking at them like you're looking at the books on the shelves, like, oh, okay, you want me to go to Greece with a group of people that walk in a sacred way, and we're going to hold hands, and we're going to stand at these temples, and we're going to activate the land. Oh, and it's about reawakening the sacred feminine, all right? And these people have a soul appointment to come. Oh, okay. And, it's like you receive messages, and then you dream about it. And then for me, I just immerse myself in it. So I've been looking at pictures and looking up things and searching and going, no, I have to find this sacred site. I don't know what it's called. And then I'm there 5 hours in a row on the internet going, looking at this and putting different terms in and just asking the guides that are telling me I need to do this to open the path, find the information. And then I go in and then I sit with it and then I come back and stuff pours out of me and I write about it. And then they were like, you need to talk about it because when you talk about it, then more information can come through. So it's one of the ways that I work with my intuition. And you might too. So walking that path and then now realizing it's Jordan's birthday. And we mostly hang out at Samhain, Day of the Dead, Halloween time because it's then. And I always have a double speak. Have our plates and be with each other. Um, so when the owl sees the truth, this was one of the protective ways that Athena was beloved, because she had her shield showing, I'm protecting you. Okay, this is not about war. And it's important because one of the things I'm doing here in the Mayan area is on a spiritual mystery discovery. I want to know the truth, and the history that's out here is just complete bullshit. And some of it's so obvious it's easy to brush aside, but it's like taking in gobs of information and then just going, what the hell? None of this makes sense, and cross referencing and trying to find the truth, and then going to the places and going to the pyramids and going to the people who have been here, or who have ancestors, or who have memories, and can tell me, and starting to piece together a puzzle of truth about who these people were, what was the sacred wisdom that they held, why is it relevant now, what do we need to know about them. And so that's become my lens. And so instead of just being in love with ancient Greece and all the gods and goddesses and going and being at the temples, and I can still remember standing at them, at that time, you could go in all the temples. You could go up on the Parthenon, go inside the Parthenon. It's the big, big, big temple to Athena on the top of the Acropolis in Athens, most famous Greek. And it had an enormous statue of Athena in it, like, as tall as that. I would say it's 2-3 stories. So, as tall as that in the end of the came in through. And and I can remember it in my other lives. I can remember a lot of the places, the way they looked, and I've been hoping somebody's going to come out like with a video or something where put things back together so you can see how everything was beautiful. Everything was painted too. Everything was very, very colorful. And so the intensity of following your path requires that you feel protected. The intensity of listening to your heart versus your conditioned mind requires strength. Yes, thank you. The breath just, it crushed me right here. This is one of the ways, if you have intuitive speak that goes in your body, if you feel things right here between my heart and my stomach just sucked in, like how it did that. Walking your path and releasing the doubt, is the doubt will distract you, and it will dilute your energy. It will dilute your communication that you're receiving, okay, for the path you're being called to. So most people don't live their life by what the intuition is calling to. They live their path by a plan they were told, or they were given, or they made, or that pleases the people. And it's fine. We were all raised that way, but that's what's breaking down. So you're here around me because you don't want that normal life anymore. And it isn't that you have to quit your job and go live on a mountain. Who knows what you want to do? It's listening to those callings, because when you actually step out of your comfort zone and you do something that you cannot tell somebody why you have to do it, you say, I don't know why. I just know I just know it. I went to Egypt the first time it was that way. And I had already booked a trip to Australia with my mystery school. Didn't go because crabby husband, and I regretted it big time. And so when this came up to go with him for have special access to all, like, oh, I'm there. I could see myself there. I knew I was there. I didn't know where I was going to get the money because I had an ex that didn't want to, but it was not something I was going to stop. It had to happen. All I could say is I just know it. As it turned out, the day that I got on the plane was the day that a Gulf War started. And my mother was standing at the car, my husband, they're all begging me not. I said, I'm fine. I'm going for divine reason. I know there's not going to be a problem. and it was the most epic portal of my life, bar none, bar none. 3 weeks, I was on another planet. I had 3-year-old kids. I had so I had to figure out care for them, all that, because primary, and I wasn't working at the time. So all these things had to come together in the outer world, and I had to be at peace with the people, at peace with things, and I had to decide for myself. I had to listen. I said, no, not now. Today, not now. What if I don't make money, pay for it, and then whatever? I never story, and it isn't. Don't ever do anything dangerous or put people in danger or anything like that. I am not. You have to know that when a message comes, give it time to emotion about how you feel about it. Because I'll guarantee you, I can get on a super big high over something like, wow, that sounds amazing. Let's do that. I can do it. I can plan it. And I'm motivated and energy's coming out of me. And okay, I have it. And then, 4 hours later, I'm a little bit tired, right? And the doubt starts to come in. And then by the time I go to sleep, I'm a little bit between, oh my gosh, it would be so awesome, but what if this is wrong? What if I do it? What if I fuck it up? What if this happens? And then you go to sleep saying, visualize I'm being there, because most of all, I don't want to force it to happen. I want to be there to see if I'm actually supposed to be there. So the more I connect to the other realms, the more I walk there in my visualizations and processes, the more that I can sense and feel whether it is right and when is it right. And then I can get rid of the fears and the doubts. But guaranteed, I'll wake up in the middle of the night or the morning at some point red. So I'll go through the whole cycle of emotions, and now I know I have to do me, have to do. And what it gives me is this overview, this wheel. Like, okay, here's all the things that you felt about it. And then maybe if it's really deep like this, you have to go through it again. So maybe weeks and a lot of dread. And so what it does is, as you step onto pouring something you're called to soul, you step in and you shed. And you step out of that into a whole new truth or reality, and then you shed that. And it's a process of deciphering whether it's your ego and your fear, your limits, or your spirit, right? Your truth, your higher authority, you. And that's what spirit guides are for. That's what, trees and plants and cats that live with you. Getting so many cat healings. I'm just bathed in stones, whatever speaking to you, right? Giving you medicine. Offer medicine. I have all these here because they're beautiful, but because they each have a person and talk to me. Certain ones active. So when you step out and everything seems scary or seems to fall apart, it isn't a step back. Step back on your spiritual. So you need to be connected. Athena is a strong, independent, divine feminine presence that can protect Athens, which still is the biggest number one city in the whole of Greece in the Hellenic Empire. And there's probably more temples to her than anyone. And she won the competition to be named, the city named after. So the people of Athens asked the gods, and they picked Poseidon because they're on the ocean. And of course, they're on the sea, and the sea is extremely important. A large portion of the country is island. And then they asked Athena. And so they each gave a gift, and Poseidon gave the sea. and they were like wonderful. We fish in the sea, we travel by the sea, we love the sea. And then Athena gave the olive, and they picked her because it gave food, oil, wood to. So that's gives you her position. So when you work with an energy as a spirit, what we do, one of the reasons I'm being called to go there is a coming full circle for me. This is very coming full circle because this is childhood stuff for me. Went when I was not in Europe, and it was one of our first trips we took. I remember it vividly, and there I remember knowing what was there. Like that's over here, there, and then working with them in terms of archetypes and working with them in terms even before I understood meditation. So the other things that Athena offers is wisdom, not just because she has this beautiful, very small owl. I forget what it's called, specific kind of owl, and it always sits on her shoulder because then everything and everyone that comes to her sees the truth. And therefore, Athena is the most wise. She sees. So you can't lie. She can see through everything. And she was strong and independent, able to herself. She had the shield. Often had Medusa on a lot of stories. And these myths, these archetypes, very living in our Akashic records. They're very alive in our stories and our myths. And Shakespeare wrote them, and then Freud and Jung, and just it's embedded in us. Greek democracy, science, medicine, all these things. Our Lucia symbol is the symbol of Hermes, who is Mercury, or who is Thoth, and that's the symbol of your Kundalini. That's the symbol of life force balance coming up your spine, feeding into your third eye, and opening the wings of the crown, reminding you, bringing messages for you to balance this. All of these different energies in the pantheon. Now you could look at the Roman pantheon if you relate to the names for them. Venus is Aphrodite, and so on and so forth. So what you want to do is find your who you relate to. If there's an ancient being or civilization that makes you feel good, or just the idea of Athena, for example, you just resonate with a divine, feminine, strong, independent woman who can not only take care of herself, but protects everyone. Now, Perseus, this is another one of those weird clues in my life about this Greece trip, is in March, I met this little baby dolphin named Perseus, but she's a girl. And after I came back from meeting her, she started to come through me and channel. And she's just incredible. But she's this wise, ancient being, and very much like a wise, ancient Socrates kind of person. That's the energy actually that comes through her. And it was like, I am embodied in this baby girl body because of the sacred feminine aspect, and I am having a man's name, but a myth name, because that name carries power. And her dad's name is Zeus, the dolphin. That's her father in the 3D. And her mother's name Osiris, which is a whole other weird thing because that's a Greek Egyptian god of the dead, the world. And so the mythology, like the energy, immediately I'm standing between these three dolphins and going, you named them what? And after getting over, you do know that's a man's name. They're like, yeah, it's a dolphin. And I was like, interesting. Then the energy is like, why would a being embody and then attract a name like that? It's not just haphazard, These are sentient beings. They know exactly where they're embodying, where they're going, who they want to interact with. So Athena helped Perseus, and Perseus is one of the most famous Greek heroes before Hercules. And he was given tasks and labors like Hercules, and that's who we are. That's representing us. We've been given these tasks. Hercules had to go fight this person and get this thing and Go do that. This represents the difficult things that we go through in our life and our struggle with them. And can we conquer them? And so she was the one that helped Perseus defeat Medusa, who was who in and of herself, Medusa's kind of cool. Maybe one day we'll tap into her, talk to her. So we have Medusa was the woman with all the snakes on her head that's always used as some kind of evil monster. So he had to go bring her head back as asks. Again, there's of course. And so that's one of the symbols that's often on her shield is the head of Medusa. That was like shows you can be protected from your most feared demons. And to me, if you think about Medusa, snakes coming out of her head and writhing and wanting to attack, if you take again the energy of what is that telling you? Okay, this was a goddess that was not treated very nicely by some gods. And so she was turned into this and she was pissed. So she's got her own story too. So, but anyway, it representing all of those thoughts, right? Oh, no, and everything just crazy and or fighting away, keeping people away, pretending you're something you're not. Cutting the head off is allowing all of this, the old brain, the old beliefs, the old everything. One aspect of the idea of cutting head off energetically, if you got that in a dream or something, there's a lot of meanings. Like we've all had our throat cut or slit or hanged or whatever, and it's always physically maybe killed us or meant also to stop your truth, to keep you separate from speaking your truth. And now we're coming and speaking our truth. We can't stop it. There's no way we can stop speaking our truth. So when this series was coming to me, I was like, okay, but what, Athena, whatever. And they kept saying, speaks. So let's get to the speaking. Oh, thank you. Oh, oh no. Damn. Okay. I give up on that. Okay, wow. Sorry, there's such a delay there. I hope there wasn't too much. That was so wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to jump over here since you've been sort of hearing me. I give up on these. We ordered these, and I think they're cheap knockoffs, and that's the third new one now that doesn't work. So hopefully you can hear me now. Once you catch up with this, please tell me if you can hear me. All right. So let's head over. I was talking about Athena, and Athena being a great spirit guide if you're interested in tapping into her, because she embodies these qualities. So let me hope that you can hear me now. And please, 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 if you feel a soul calling to do this, this is like a soul appointment. This is coming to something. You may not know why. You may be like me at first. I was like, what? No. Well, maybe next year, but not now. And I've been walking through all of my fear and all my doubt and all the different things that are going on to see if this is really supposed to happen right now, and if I'm reading the signs correctly, and who is. So as people join, as people show up, as people talk to me, this is the communication. So please reach out to me. So this is our schedule. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the ancient healing mystery schools of Greece. We're going to be going to several of those places. So Athena, let's all tune into Athena. I want her to speak, and I want to connect to her by showing you pictures of I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go poppy bop over here to see if you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? We hear you. Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay, good. Thank you. Well, I had that beautiful show we did last week where we walked through Greece together, and I was crying. Oh my gosh, it was just so moving to me. And then I tried to redo it, listen to it, and the sound was so bad, I just took it down. So, okay, so let's take a deep breath in. Come fully present here.
Excuse me. All right, so I have been already talking to Athena. I will be honest with you. She's already here. I've been, last night I was dream walking very, very deep, and one reason I stayed in bed most of the morning. And it was fine. It wasn't like I was not doing something I had to. But it was rare for me, and it was really nurturing. And my kitty was purring on me, and I had been walking all night long in all of these places. So, welcome to the Temple of Athena. And this goddess has embodiments and energies that are going to be very, very, very profound for you. So Athens, I told you, is the home of Athena because she gifted them with the olive tree. Here you see her shield has a horse on it. So there's different symbols in different places, and she's holding also her helmet. This helmet is a symbol of the warrior, but you see how she's holding them out in front of her? She's not wearing them and attacking somebody. So she is the goddess of protection, and she's the goddess of wisdom because of what we talked about with the owl, and she's the goddess of strength, and I felt enormous strength coming into us. Now, there's a lot of sacred symbols here. You can see the beautiful sacred snakes coming from her robes and along the side of the design of her robes. And this is a specific robe, a specific design that had symbols, power. This has very powerful medicine. So you have to let go if you have a perception of snakes and serpents being evil. They are not, and they were not represented that way in any other culture. So if in your culture they were, then you just accept, okay, that was the way I was raised, and I can't put that onto anybody else's mindset. This is not the way it was. So the original giant serpent, he was the son of Gaia, and he lived in Delphi with Gaia and protected the sacred site of the oracle until Apollo killed him. The sacred serpents are representative of the sun god, of life force, of Kundalini. They're the ones that teach us to shed, to flow back and through life. And they always represent rising Kundalini, which is transformation. So, right, she has that power as well. And in many cultures like Egypt and Mayan, it represents an awakened third eye. So you saw the symbols coming out of the forehead. So let's take a deep breath in and acknowledge I am that I am, and I am here in this sacred temple of Athena with Athena and Akasha. Let your breath out and relax. You are between the worlds with me, beloved. You are between the worlds, deeply loved. You are wrapped in the most beautiful light of this blue full moon. The love of the sacred feminine is radiating all over the planet. And the planet and all the sacred sites and places and the earth and the crystals and the temples and the people who hold this sacred feminine radiate back to us. We call on Athena. Thank you, thank you, thank you. With great love, open heart, and open mind, we ask to have a clear and open connection with you. We're ready to reawaken the magic within us. We're ready to remember who we were in other lives so that we can access the wisdom and the power, the understanding of that time, the sacred medicine that could help us now. Thank you, Athena. So here you can see from a perspective this beautiful, the number one Greek temple in all ever built to Athena, to the divine feminine. So you know when you come here, you can feel it. Just take it in through your eyes. Now off to the left, there's a small building with a porch that has beautiful goddesses, caryatids, holding it up. This is another temple to Athena. And even further down on that, there's yet another. You can feel the energy from the rock, from the stone. They're alive with the wisdom of all of the times they have witnessed. And this has stood here when it was built, when it was revered, when it was used, all the sacred thoughts, all the sacred beliefs, all the sacred rituals that allowed Athena to bring her beauty, protection, her strength, her wisdom, and her love. Stronger and stronger her presence became until it imbued everything. It's still here for you to feel. Temples all over Greece built to Athena. Different aspects of her. You can feel the energy still here. The stones glowing. I once walked here, a priestess to Athena. Did you? This is the sanctuary of Athena at Delphi. Most people know Delphi for the god Apollo, and his temple is above. But here there's an entire sanctuary of buildings where I served Athena. This is the Tholos. Beautiful, unusual temple. A circle of columns inside of another circle of columns. And a sacred room within. A place where the oracles and the maidens and the women were free to learn, to express, to be intuitive, to commune with all forms of nature. The symbols glowed with power and grace, and you knew just how to receive, to drink, to gather in the medicine that came from these carvings, these stones, these hills, the sanctuary, the view, the hills, the land. And then when the Romans decided to change to Christianity, they closed all of the pagan temples. They closed Delphi. Every temple, even the theaters, no one was allowed to use them. No one was allowed to come to the sacred energies. They became forgotten for 400 years. Mudslides and nature rolled down the hill and covered the entire site. No one remembered it was there. Now came a time when people began to think, they began to be reminded, wasn't there a temple there? Didn't they talk about this in this book? Wasn't there something here? Maybe we should go look. And a French team came and searched and excavated and began to discover Delphi again. On the island of Aegina, one of the most beautiful temples, Athena Athea. Walk in here, feel this, get the feeling of what it was like with more of these beautiful columns connecting heaven and earth. They loved columns because it connected heaven and earth. Imagine when you're going to be sitting here, having your breakfast, talking to Athena next to her temple, surrounded by the divine energies. Let the stones and the carvings and the energies come to you, move through you very softly. Now, Athena asks you to remember that she is here and you are protected. That whatever calls your heart now, you can move forward knowing there's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that can hurt you. She's here because of truth. If you wish to walk a path of truth, now is the time. If you wish to be in a path of truth, walk with me. I have my shield. I have all of my tools. My owl sees the truth. My eyes see the path. I have the strength when you don't. I'm always looking down over you. So now here we are, the moon almost full, the moon full. We're going to imagine that's our full blue moon. And here, the entire place dedicated to Athena. Keep looking until you feel you're ready to close your eyes. It is a deep blue night. You stand on the Acropolis, looking up at the full moon, brighter than you have ever seen in this life. You sense its glow coming down and touching you. You feel your aura radiating out, reaching up to the moon. They connect and blend like touching a loved one. The moon lights everything up. You're standing here, a priestess of Athena. Your flat leather shoes lace up your legs. Your gown is silky and soft against your legs, and you feel the strength beneath you, the rock, stone. It seems to come from deep, deep within Gaia, a stream of strength that pours into this mountain and radiates up. You look around you, the temples are glowing, painted, exquisite. The gold accents glint in the moon. The beautiful statues all around glint. They seem to absorb the moon glow. You feel the strength and you remember, ah, yes. It all floods into your body. Floods into your body and you feel, oh, the warmth coursing through your veins. It's like it washes your eye. Your entire brain is freed. Layers and layers and layers disappear. You feel light and young and strong. The gowns caress your skin. It feels sensual yet comforting. You feel loved, so loved. There is no fear here. You look up at the moon again and you realize you're standing in a circle of sacred sisters. You're standing in front of the Parthenon and you feel the glow of the fire within that's been lit and tended by the high priestess of Athena. The glow is rising, almost like flickering flames reaching out to the moon. There's a stillness in the air, and the blue of the sky is electric and alive. You feel as if you are one with all these elements. There's no separation between your feet and the stones, the rock, and Gaia. You breathe the air in, and in comes the electric sky, the sun, the moon. You smell the trees, the laurel wreath on your head, sacred and divine, oozing soul medicine into you. You smell the incense, the leaves burning in the center of the circle. The herbs fill the air. You're holding hands, you're moving as if in slow motion, dancing one way, then you turn the other way. You go only a quarter of the circle and you turn back and go back to your original spot. The smell, the smoke, the air, they become you now. Your body feels as if it's glowing and you are completely conscious of your auric field. Now you all stop and bring your hands above your head. You receive the energies into your palms and slowly lower your hands down. Now you walk to the fire and pour whatever you have received into the fire. An enormous flame goes up. The flame begins to move. There's beings and gods and goddesses here. They move around in the flame. This has opened a window, your special gift to see through the worlds. You feel and sense how you saw, you receive these messages. All the sacred sisters around you hold space. They know that it is your time. They are sending you the energies that allow you to go deeper into communication. And Athena steps out and stands in front of you. Very tall, glowing, shimmering lights moving. Her gowns, 1 minute light, 1 minute cloth. She looks down on you. These piercing eyes look straight into you. They come into the forehead. You feel her gaze go directly to your pineal gland in the center of your brain. She logs in and disconnects. And you rise up, expanding, expanding until you become eye to eye with her. She says, "Come, I must show you something." You walk with her up the steps of the Parthenon. You enter the temple. The enormous pillars of stone are not stone at all. They're not marble. They are glowing light temples, bringing energy down from above and up from the earth. As you enter the temple, you walk together towards the enormous statue of Athena, and you stop in the center of the temple. There's a circle in the floor. The tiles create a portal. You stand here side by side. "Look into my eyes," she said. "It's time that you see yourself. The strength that you hold is needed. You trained with me. You know what to do. You've come back through time now so that I could show you, remind you, you are the one that needs to step. You must see the door. You must open it. You can call on me. You know that I am with you. There is a blue flame. When you see it, I am within it. Feel the strength now." She puts her hand on your belly and your back. You feel a download of strength coming into you. It permeates your belly, your womb, your sacral. It begins to rise up through the spine. The protection you need is within your psychic shield. You have trained to become a master at seeing between the worlds. You know how to step out of the emotional blanket and stand on the top of the mountain. The clarity will come to you. I will hold you. Together, all that was will no longer be, and all that you were created to be will become. She removes her hands. Now, face to face, she sends a message directly through her left hand she is holding in front of your heart. I ask you to remember that strength is not violence, is not war, is not any form of attack or blame on the other. I ask you to remember what I showed you here. True strength is embodying the body. It is the masculine. It supports us. True strength is then accepting and allowing your divine feminine to enter it, to feel safe within it, to be strong on its own, to see truth while protected. You are not meant to be walking the world with no protection. You are meant to no longer need the protection of the other. Now the owl sends you a message. It is on her left shoulder. See truth. Know you're safe. Walk this path always in these shoes, and they will be with you in any life. Remember your name. Athena. Temple fades. You're back in the circle of sisters outside of the Parthenon. You come back down into your body. The portal is closed. Athena has risen, and you have received your divine download. You step back to the circle. Link hands with your sacred sisters and begin to dance under the full moon. The glow of the pillars, the moon, and the stones radiate as you dance, and you feel all of the strength, protection, and the memories of whoever you were that is most optimal at this time for you to remember to reconnect to. I am strong, protected, and wise. I walk in truth. I accept. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This and all that I have received. I thank these sacred sisters, Athena, the moon, and this beautiful ritual. This opportunity to reconnect and remember. I am on my path. I accept that I am here with a purpose. And I'm ready to take this strength, protection, and wisdom that I may answer the calls of my heart and live the life my soul intended. Thank you. Namaste. May this circle be open yet unbroken, and the peace and beauty, protection and the strength, this divine download and reconnection to a power of our soul remain with us, continue to integrate. I accept all the energies that are optimal for me to assist in this integration, and I give great thanks to myself for being here now. I love myself so dearly. I'm willing to accept the support, the sacred sisters. I'm willing to accept the money, the time, and anything else that is required for me to walk my sacred way. I know I am supported. I am here on a fully funded mission. And so it is. Wow. It was wonderful, everyone. I hope you could hear me. Oh, goodness. I'm going to have to look into the energies of what this message is about, the sound. And happy full moon. Thank you for being here with me and my daughter, Jordan. I'm a little bit, like I said, I've been walking many worlds. Last night I dream walked. This is a sacred quest, and it's a little bit scary because a lot of people who want to go can't go or feel like it's not the right moment or whatever. So 3D world and here and walking the path of faith and trust and doing the right thing for myself and my family, for my soul's path, and for you. So I'm going to go bathe in that and play with Athena and Jordan in my pool, I think. There was some thunder or lightning earlier, so we had Zeus here. Okay, so I really, really appreciate you being in this path with me. And I'm so filled with joy at the shedding that we're all doing. It can be very difficult, so it's important to have sacred sisters, sacred brothers, sacred circles, sacred places. So next Monday is our first September Sacred Spirit Guide Circle. If you haven't joined us yet, please do go to the shop. It's just $23 a month, or you can buy for the year. And we're going to send you out some goodies. In the meantime, we also have a group that hardly anybody's joined yet, so we need to get everybody into our group. This way we can support each other in a most sacred way and have a lot of fun. So I will be doing some readings, and for 3 people or so, 3 or 4 people at the end of the second part of the Spirit Guide. So there's a lot of fun that you can share, you can talk, and see what other people get too, because a lot of my students will be there as well. Okay, I feel delightful and overflowing. Mercury retrograde. Yeah, we got a lot of retrogrades. We got a Pluto retrograde and Mercury retrograde and Uranus retrograde, Venus retrograde. So it was lovely. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Namaste.